Hi everyone, my name is Bill and welcome to my channel. Before we get started, please consider subscribing to my channel and possibly becoming a patron. Now, would you like to upgrade your T8 Pro? Now, one of the best upgrades I think you could do to this RAD, probably one of the only ones, is to upgrade the antenna. Now, what I've done, I've gone through my spares box and I've found the necessary items I need, let me show you, to be able to upgrade the radio to have an external antenna. Now, I recently produced a video about another radio where I fail-safed with the internal antenna. When I put the external one on, it was far better. The RSSI readings were far better. So I thought I'm going to do this with the T8 Pro. You can buy this kit from RadioMaster's website for around $2 US. So it's not a very expensive upgrade, and I think it will be worth it because you're going to get a far better signal coming from your radio than you would without it. Anyway, let's switch over to the radio and I'm going to show you how to do this. It is not complex at all. Now let's get started on this conversion. All we need to do is first take off the screen, put that safely over there. Then we are going to go and take this plug out, first. Now we're going to need a bigger screwdriver for this. And let's just get underneath there. It's quite tight. So it's probably better to move this now while the radio is still together. There we go. Let me get my fingers onto it. Right, now we can just put that over there. We can keep that. That'll be in case we wanted to put it back in again. Or take the antenna off. I think once you've put it on there, you wouldn't want to. Now we take the SD card out. Let's just do that as well. Pop that over there. Now, what we need to do is to take out these 4 screws here. So let me do that. So you're going to need basically, I think, 2 normal screwdrivers and a Phillips one, like this one. Just make sure that you don't push down on your gimbals when you're doing this. So I'm going to speed this up. I just want to say, don't overdo the overdo up the screws when you are putting it back together. Because I'm not going to show you putting the radio back together because obviously it's just the reverse of the disassembly process. But just don't overdo them. This radio has been apart a few times, and if you screw up the screws too tight, you can have problems getting them out. Like I am with that one. Let me just take the radio off shot. Okay, there we go. Took a bit of effort to get that one out. Right, now we need to split the radio. Now you can see, hopefully you can see this, it's not easy just to unplug the radio. So what I found to do is to go down the side here on this crease and just, you can see I have marked the radio a bit doing this. But it's the only way I can see to get this off. You've just got to slowly prise it off because it clips in at the bottom. It's a little bit, it's easier to do this off camera, but I'm just going to show you what you will need to do because this may put you off trying to do this modification if you're a bit worried about damaging the casing of a radio. But see, it's not quite as easy as it looks. Okay, let's pull that up. There we go. So if we slide that down there we go, you hear it click. So it's not as easy as taking a TX16S apart. It's a little bit more complicated than that. You've just got to release the case. And you can see I've got a piece of the plastic there. So I want to show you warts and all getting this off. So just slide the screwdriver down. There you go, and it clicks. Now we should be okay to pull this off. Now you need to pull it off from here, this way, and say it is tricky. It's not. I want to show the video warts and all. I'm just going to take the radio away from the camera so that I can pull this off. There we go, and you can see I wanted to show you this. The battery fell out whilst I was trying to pull that case off. So it is a bit tricky. It's a shame it just doesn't just basically unbolt, but it doesn't. So it's got like some clips here. You can see the clips there that clip it in. But don't be too scared about that. Just bear with it and you'll get it off. Now, what we need to do is inside the radio, let's pop that battery in properly. You can see there's a holder here. Now what we need to do, we need to unscrew this, and it's this screw here. Take that one off. Put it aside, and then this one here. Okay, just going to pop that out there. Take that screw out, set the screw aside. Okay, now you can see here, there's the antenna internal connector. So we're going to need to prise that off, and then we can put our new one in. But let's first, let me carefully put this down on some cloth so it doesn't get damaged. So first thing we need to do is to get our connector here and just undo the screws, the bolts. Okay, take off the washers. Okay, so we're going to push this inside here, and then I would say the washer and the spring washer, and we are going to try and screw that in. So this is going to be a little bit tricky because it doesn't right, what's a daisy? Right, this is a bit tricky, you see, because it's held there. So I may need to use a socket, but that's quite tricky there to actually screw that in. Let me grab, let me use my screwdriver just to, okay, I'll speed this up. All I'm doing is using the screwdriver to turn the bolt nut around. Right, and you can see there's a little bit of plastic there that holds that. So what I'm going to do is just grab some pliers. Now that's a little bit tricky to get tight, the actual screw there. So let's see if we can, yeah, I can do it up. I don't think I'll have a socket anywhere here that will hold that, but what I'm going to do is just slowly turn it. It's got a spring washer there, so if you can tighten this up enough. Let me just check. Now we can just test it. Let's just put the antenna on there and see if you can screw that up properly without it. Yes, you can. That's nice and tight. Everything's tight there. So we can undo that. So that is a little bit tricky. Whether you may have a narrow socket that you can get into there to do this. I'm just going to try and turn it a little bit more. There you go. I think that's tight enough now. So there we go. Now what we can do is, so you're seeing me, I've never done this conversion before, so I'm doing this conversion while you're watching me. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can use this small screwdriver to unclick the antenna. There we go, just a small flat screwdriver to get that off. Now all we're going to do is pop this back in, which must be that way. So let's pop that. I wonder if we should connect that up first. Maybe we should. No, let's not. Let me just, I'm just going to grab this. I think we can just leave that other antenna sitting inside there. It doesn't look like it's going to touch anything, so I don't think that will cause, maybe just for, I tend to try to be a bit safer with these sort of things. There we go, click it out of the way, there we go. Right, oops a daisy, off camera. So now, okay, that's got a bit, there we go. There we go, so now we're going to put the screw back in. I may have to come off camera with this one because these are a little bit tricky, tiny. Okay. Let's do this side first. There we go, just nip that up a bit, I won't over tighten that. There we go, now we need to put our antenna, connect our antenna up. Right, now that took me some time to get the connector onto the board there. And what I did, I just rerouted the original antenna lead over to here to make sure that it can't short. And if you shake the radio, it won't come out. So now all you need to do is reverse the process we did to take the back off. Now you just must make sure this clicks in properly. Let's go to the overhead cam and I will show you. Okay, so as I've already stated, there is the old antenna lead. The new one is plugged in and everything is good. So you just make sure that these batteries are in their little sponge holders nicely. So now we get the radio. As I said, this gets a little bit slightly tricky, so I think if you go to the front first, you have to make sure that this slides under those grooves. You can see it gets a bit, it can be a bit tricky to get on. It's not the easiest radio that I've stripped down, but it's not impossible. Okay, let's have a look. So there we're there, so we can push that down. Just make sure nothing is catching anywhere. So you'll hear this go click, and the same with this side. Just make sure there's no wires there and just click it together. There we go, and we should be back together. I just wanted to show you that because the process is quite scary. Right, now I'm just going to pause just to put the screws back in. Now let's put the antenna onto the radio. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Now we have an antenna on our radio, you can see there. All done. And let's put the screen back on, see what happens when that goes on. It should fit on okay. Shouldn't be any problems with that. There we go. There you go, you can see the screen's on there. And we now have an external antenna. As you can see, it's not very difficult to upgrade. The only difficulty is getting the case off. You just need to be careful with that because you need to use a screwdriver to, as you can see from the video, to try and prise it off. But just be careful with that. Other than that, it's quite a simple process to do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below because I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Happy flying. Bye for now.